Hey,
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. All
Perfect.
right, so we'll just kind of start off with, well, first off, congratulations on competing at the Amateur Olympia and congratulations on even coming second in your division class call out.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
So
So
cool.
I just want to kind of really talk a bit about that and how that all kind of came about and how the prep was and that whole journey and experience.
Yeah.
So my first question kind of was it always the goal from the very beginning of the year to compete at the amateur O, or was it something that just kind of came about during your prep for the state show?
So, yeah, weirdly enough, I never sort of because I only did my first show. That was season A, my first show
Yeah.
ever. Um, so I never really sort of thought about, I like, I'd, if I'd like it or whatever. And then after doing that show, I was like, wow, I love this. And
Yeah.
then it was funny enough because I was actually on the phone to Troy, like just getting feedback and stuff like that, what we need to improve on and stuff. And he was saying that he was got. I was like, I would love to like go overseas and do it. That would be cool. And
Yeah.
he's, oh well, because he's got Alex that actually qualified for the Olympia. He was like, I'm going over there with her. Like, why don't we get a group together and like do a little Team Australia
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
amateur Olympia? And I'm like, that's cool. But literally since then I'm like, yeah, we're doing it, let's go. And then yeah, that was it really. So it
It's
was
from
never,
there.
yeah, I never thought this is the goal, I just thought,
Yeah.
oh, in Australia, see how we go. And then yeah, it sort of just all like blew up and I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's really cool. I had no idea that season A was actually your first competition. So that's
Yeah.
also really exciting. And that's
Yeah.
awesome that you kind of did it and played so well and also knew that this was something that you wanted to do. And then luckily enough, it kind of ended up, which way, it's amazing that he was able to get Alex, the win the pro show and be able to compete at the Olympia. And so it was cool that he kind of decided and went, well, how can we make the most out of this situation? So let's take a team over there. So that's really cool.
Everything just sort of fell into place and it
Yeah.
was like, well, I'll be silly not to do it, like
Yeah.
not,
It's
he's going to
an
be there and a group of us will be going. So yeah,
such an experience that like the opportunity just arose and it's like, well, I don't want to miss out on it, so I might as well jump on it.
absolutely.
So that means after season A and you competed, then did you have any like kind of moment of a little off season, or it was just kind of just managing what you could to then lead into that prep again for, because you had all the way till December, so you had a lot of time since
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, it was good because obviously I would already qualified to go overseas. I didn't have to do season B.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely did have like a mini little off season. Like we reversed really well. I made sure I like stuck to it because I had this goal.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just had like a mini off season, grew as much as we could, and then 16 weeks out was like, okay, that's it. Let's get on prep, start cutting.
Okay, that's all right. So really gave yourself, because I noticed, some of the girls who had done season B went on to do season A. So it kind of like made that extended prep that they would have done for season B, even a couple of more weeks, like from 20 or 18 to all the way to 30-week prep, because, doing it for that. So it's good that you kind of gave yourself that extra time and it really ended up, playing in your favor by the looks of it.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
So how was, I guess, because your first time traveling and competing. So how did that kind of all go about? I guess did Troy have any like tips or ways to kind of manage the situation, or was it all just a learning curve as it kind of came about?
It was all sort of just a learning curve. Like I
Yeah,
literally didn't know what to expect. Like the thing I was stressed the most about is getting my meals onto the plane.
yeah,
That what my number one stress was. Like I was telling everyone, I was trying to speak to everyone, get advice. Everyone was saying different things. Like, yep, you can take them, you're fine, you can take everything. And then other people were saying, no, mine got taken off from me and I had no food for the whole like 16 hours of flying. And I'm like, oh my God, that can't happen. Like,
very stressful.
very, very. And just like, yeah, like you just don't know what you can sort of
Yeah,
take
yeah.
all of experience really. But I managed to get every single food on. And
Oh,
even
that's
I
good.
one last meal. I actually got it through customs into America.
Oh, really?
Surprised about that.
I thought they may have made you wait to walk through customs and that and eat it there and then go through. So that's really interesting.
I thought that too, but I was like, because we was in customs and I was like, oh, should I just get it out and eat it? And then I was like, I'll just see. If they say no, I'll just be like, okay, let me eat it first and then I'll go in. But now my bag through and was like, yep, you're good to go. That's fine. All they did was take away my ice packs because they had melted.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, that's all right. So your biggest fear was kind of solved, and that it didn't kind of lead to anything else.
I was so happy. So yeah, that was good. But that was probably my biggest,
like,
biggest. Oh no, I don't know what's gonna happen if I can't take them on. Like, I don't know.
Especially hearing so many different opinions from different people, it would have been really hard to kind of know what is the actual go, because I know certain guidelines like that, that they may give you at the airport and transport department is always very vague, like it's not specific enough.
Yeah.
So at least that was kind of all sorted out. So did you head straight to Las Vegas or did you go?
Being in Adelaide, had to fly to Sydney first.
Yeah.
And then from Sydney to LA and then LA to Vegas.
Did you spend any time in LA while you were there?
No, I didn't. I just had like a 4-hour stopover.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to, but I just didn't really. It was just, I was traveling on my own. So I was like,
oh, okay. Just kind of
get
it all done and meet everybody in Vegas.
That's right.
So how many days prior to the amateur O did you get there? I'm pretty sure it seemed like you were there about a week or so.
Yeah, I was there probably 6 full days before the comp.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that just because I didn't know how like my body was going to look after flying. And I'm glad I did, because I did swell up a lot.
Yeah.
I did like hold a little bit of water. So we got enough time to get rid of that and everything like that and get my whereabouts and things. So I was definitely glad that I did like a week before the show. Next, I'll do that again, 100%.
I think it's important to give yourself that time, especially if you haven't done it before and know how to manage all those water retention or anything like that, just so you can bounce back, because it may take a bit longer to bounce back than you may, want.
Yeah, and you don't know if your flight's going to be cancelled or delayed. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. So it's better to allow enough time.
Definitely. So when did Troy get there then? So I guess, if you got there by yourself a week out, did he just prior to the show?
So Troy came, when did Troy come? I think he came on Sunday. Yeah, he came on Sunday and the show was on Tuesday.
So he got enough time.
Yeah. I think he was meant to get in Sunday, like during the day, but flights got delayed and everything like that. Sunday night, I caught up with him just to see how everything was going and stuff.
At least he was able to get there prior to the show. Would have sucked if, if he won, something happened, he couldn't make it, or, he wasn't only going to get there the day before, and it would have been a bit hard to check everything out. So at least he was there, on the Sunday, you were able to prepare a bit better, giving yourself 2 days to kind of suss everything out.
Exactly. You got enough time. Whereas if it was like the day before, you're like, well, we can't change anything now. Like, what's done is done. So no, it's so good, like having your coach there with you. Like, you just feel so much more relaxed, and like you send check-ins over the phone and stuff, but you can't, it's not like in person. You can't everything, and the lighting and all of that, and so it's good like, to have him there.
Definitely. It's like one of the biggest things in the industry is like where we see pictures online and we're like, wow, or oh yeah, and then we see them in person, it's either a disappointment or it's like, oh my God, the pictures didn't do justice. So would have been good to have that eye in person.
Definitely.
What was kind of your overall, I guess, highlight, in peak week, or, being in Vegas, first time, especially because you were competing? What was kind of some of your favorite things that you got up to?
My favorite things. Okay, number one, probably actually going to the Olympia, seeing the pros and the finals. That was just like next level. Like the atmosphere and everything was just another level, which was amazing.
Did you make it to the expo?
Yes, yeah. So I was at the expo Friday and the Saturday.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Really good to just look around and things like that, and some really cool booths there as well. But yeah, that was definitely a highlight as well. Peak week highlight. Probably just like nothing really exciting, but like it was exciting for me just seeing like how much I could change within that week. Like whereas we added more food, and the next morning I would take my check-in and I was like, what? Like it's just your body just changes like literally
so quickly.
Literally insane. So that was really like, that was exciting for me. And so I love that sort of that progress of it, which was really good. But yeah, we did a lot. So it was just all like, just being there was like amazing. I've never been to Vegas before. I've never done anything like that. So it was just like, incredible.
It must be such an interesting experience, because like I guess if you've never been to Vegas by yourself, and then let alone going as an athlete, you kind of feeling rushed and jam-packed, but then also trying to explore at the same time. Like you got so many things going on, so many variables you kind of control, but then you're all of a sudden like, whoa, look at this is amazing. I'm in Vegas, I'm in the casinos, and I go to the Olympias on the weekend. So I can imagine how much of a experience it would have been. So did you get time a little bit after to, I guess, soak up Vegas and soak up the experience? Yeah.
So we got a week. I got a week after. So while I was there, I had an Airbnb with a few other people from Adelaide as well.
Yeah.
So all together, which was nice. But yeah, we definitely. So after the show, that was the week that I had. So obviously the Olympia was on the weekend. Still doing that sort of stuff, but we definitely like went out for some nice dinners and just exploring, even like going to different gyms and everything like that, and seeing all the like cool American equipment, and nothing to what we have here. But
I know, it's such a shame.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really, really good.
How was I saw that you were at Dragon's Lair. How was that, especially in because I know there was heaps of pro athletes. I remember seeing you post a couple of pictures of some of the pros. How was that kind of whole experience? And I guess what was that like, meeting those people that we kind of see all the time over social media, but in person?
That was cool. Like I remember, I think it was like the second day we were there. And I just saw Jen Dory, and I'm like, she just talked to me, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, no, Kirsty, don't go. Just leave her alone. Just leave her alone. I'm like, nah, I'm going up. So I went up and spoke to her. She was just so lovely. Like she was like, I just got really good energy and really good vibes from her, which is really nice because So and then I was like, can I get a picture? And sure. And I'm like, yay. So that was cool. But overall, the gym is quite small.
Yeah, I've heard this. It looks really big, but I've heard everyone said that's been there is actually smaller than you think.
Yeah, and there's only sort of one of everything.
Okay.
Like most gyms is like, you got your 2 leg presses, or there's only one of everything. So it did get packed, like really busy to the point where you couldn't even really use much.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool just to go there and get like a feel for an experience. Like during my peak week, it wasn't as busy, but the following week, like with the pros and stuff, it was packed. So we actually went to another gym called Elevation.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Really good, like really good equipment, especially for like legs and glutes. Really good.
Was it a lot
quieter there? A lot quieter.
Yeah. And was it bigger or about the
Yes.
same size? Yeah.
Big. It had about 3 different rooms.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
That's cool. At least you got to kind of experience, or I guess you got to experience the hype of the Dragon's Lair, see all the pros, and then, when it got too busy, then you could just quiet down, enjoy what other gyms, Vegas has to offer, and experience, using all different machines that we just unfortunately don't have here at the moment.
That's right. So it was really, really good to try them out and stuff like that. Makes it exciting too.
Yeah. It's funny because like I think about traveling now, and I'm like, the first thing on the list is like, what gym can I go to? What gym?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like,
I love that.
so it's just there's so many gyms overseas. Like I want to go to Oxygen Gym, but I heard there's a guy who's trying to bring Oxygen Gym to Australia next year. So that could be really exciting to look out for. So hopefully that all kind of comes to fruition. I'd love to go to Dragon's Lair and like Metro Flex and that. So yeah, hopefully I can get over there one day.
Yes, you will. Absolutely. Have to.
So back to the amateur O, kind of run me through how was the whole event, like athletes check in and then just kind of getting on stage, backstage. How was that kind of whole experience?
Everything was really good. Like everything ran pretty smoothly. Yeah, really. So with the athletes check-in, we got there like before. It was meant to be at 4 o'clock, but we were already around there. So I was like, let's just go now. And there was already a queue. So I was like, so we just went there, which was cool. And then they had like little racks of clothing and stuff like that and apparel that you could look at and buy stuff while you was queuing.
Yeah.
And also like there was really like relaxed as well. Like we had set tan times, but we could just literally just go in and be like, are you free? And they're like, yeah, come in. We'll just
That's good.
and then come back. So that was really nice. It wasn't like, no, you need to come back at this time. So that all ran really like smoothly and cruisy. So yeah, after check-in, I was literally home by like 7, which was nice. But yeah, that was all really good. And then the day of the show, at the start we didn't really have times. They didn't give us a timetable. They only said, okay, so it starts at 8, like the woman's show, which obviously like women's physiques and stuff like that first. So we never really got a time. So I think we rocked up at like about 9 o'clock and just waiting around and stuff like that. And then there was calling each class out. Everything, they did everything really, really well. It would be nice to have a time of
definitely. I'm surprised they didn't do that because it helps with you. Okay, we're going to give you some carbs here, or we've got to have some water here. I'm really surprised that they were so vague on that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it was just basically because I was class F, so I was like to the end, so it was kind of sort of knew how much time we had. But I really wish they did have like times and stuff like that. And I didn't realize finals was going to be so late. I didn't be hanging around for that long. But that was fine. Like it was still an experience. It was cool. Like we got more food, more photos and things like that. Like the only thing is I would have liked a bit more stage time. Yeah. Pretty disappointed that like when we went on, like my class, they didn't even get us to turn and walk to the rear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think that's because they were running behind on time or just so many competitors?
Maybe.
Was that did that happen both in pre-judging and finals or just?
So in pre-judging it happened and then in finals, so in pre-judging they sort of already decided who was winning and stuff like that. So in finals we didn't do a routine at all. All we were is at the side of the stage and then they just said like first, second, third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we didn't even really get to like do it again.
Yeah, that sucks.
It was sad because I did really want to, because as soon as I got on stage, I just got this like amazing it almost felt like I was at home. Like where I don't know if it's because it was my second like show and I sort of knew sort of what like compared to my first show, but I don't know, it just felt different to Australia. Like it was just like I just felt a bit more chilled and just like, wow, I'm meant to be here.
Yeah, I think it's like that the influence maybe of it like being the Olympia and like knowing it's such a big show and just like being on that stage, and I guess you can know the energy that it brings in comparison to the state shows here and stuff like that. So I guess and because like you said you had done season A, so you kind of had already the experience of what you needed to do on the stage, and then knowing what type of stage you were stepping on, it just kind of was like, this is it, this is the big moment.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you got to finals and there were So at that point in finals, you assumed you were in the top three?
Yes, because I was first call out.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I'll be in three. I just wasn't sure.
Sure, which place?
Yeah.
So when they called out second and they called your name, kind of what was that emotion? Did you like? How did you feel? Like,
Funny story. So I actually my tan had like all cut like not come off, but like I rubbed it and like obviously sweating and stuff like that. So I was getting my tan retouched up while my class was on the stage.
oh my gosh.
So I wasn't even on the stage. No one told me that we were on. And this lady's just doing my tan. We're just having a chat. And then I see like the class lineup. I'm like, oh my God, wait. Like I'm in F.
Yeah.
About to go on. I'm like, what's happened? So I was literally like, she's like just finishing. I was like, I've got to go. So I literally ran and I like say my class and I'm like, where am I meant to be? They're like, your name's getting called. Like, I'm not joking. I literally had to run on the stage. They were like, they called my name and everyone was just like looking.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So I didn't even really feel, I was like, what have I even come? What place? And then they
Oh
just
no.
smiling and I'm like, oh my God, of course this happens to me.
Now that's a story.
Oh my God.
That's funny. It would have really like I know what you mean, like it would have really thrown you off. You would have kind of just been like, who are they? Why are they calling me? What place did I get? Like, oh my God, what's going on? Because you're in such a rush, you had no idea. That's weird. Was it because was the tanning area separate to kind of close to the stage and stuff? Is that why you were unaware that
It was
it
in
had been?
room. So you went into the tan bit first, then you go up the stairs, and then
Yeah.
it's sort of a stage where you pump up, and then you go onto the stage.
Oh,
So, I mean, I don't really know how I missed it. I just
just happened.
it just all went quickly, and then before I know it, like they're calling you, and I'm like,
Shit,
what?
I'm coming.
Stage, and I'm like, oh my God. So I literally like, yeah, there was like just looking around. I was like, oh my God. I just walked on like, I'm here. And then I didn't even I got and yeah, they gave me the medal and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. So I didn't really have like time to,
Process it in the moment.
yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. That's a
I
story.
know.
I
Like
like that. Did you have you heard the feedback about like do you know how close it was between you and first place?
you know what? I haven't heard yet. Haven't heard, but I'm hoping to hear hopefully very soon.
So
A size thing.
the size thing, yeah, I was just about to say, what does you or Troy think that it could have possibly been?
Definitely a size thing. Like she had like bigger delts than me, bigger glutes. So yeah, definitely just a size thing, I reckon.
Still, I think like that must be such a rewarding feeling, I guess, in reflection now, or you can look back and it's quite an achievement to really think that what your second competition ever, you lost first, due to, let's say, size. So, you only done one competition in season A and you came second in your class at the Amateur Olympia, which is like known as one of the most, heavy classes. Like all the athletes go to compete on that stage, you know, like that's crazy to think about, you came second. That's like a really big achievement.
I'm very, very happy. Very happy.
Did you think that it was possible, like what going, I guess, off of what happened in season A here in Australia and then kind of going into this, what were the hope, I guess your hopes and are probably like, I want to come first. Everybody goes in wanting to win, but were you kind of more, you and Troy, was this mindset of we're just happy to be competing in this show, we'll see what happens? Or were you really like, no, I think we can bring a package that's really going to get us in that top position?
And that, like, I'm very competitive. Like,
Yeah.
I was always like to him, like, I'm not doing it if I'm not going to like do well. Like,
Yeah.
I want very well. Otherwise, don't bother. Let's not do it. So, always trying to go for that number one spot.
Yeah.
But
So then coming home and you're currently, so what, you're currently in reverse diet. How many more weeks left of that?
I'm not sure actually, just gradually building it up. Like I wasn't even gonna check in until after New Year. I was just gonna sort of whatever cruise around. But then like the other morning I was like, I'm bored. Like I want to actually like,
Yeah.
just again. So I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna check in. And then yeah, I actually surprised myself because I dropped like a kilo since stage weight, and I've like enjoyed Christmas, Vegas, everything. So I
Crazy.
don't know what's happened there. So it is good.
Just shows how well your body's responding.
Yeah. So we're just sort of building the calories up and slowing cardio, which is nice. So I'm not sure like how long it will sort of take, but yeah, just see how we go.
So do you have you guys already talked about plans for when to get back on stage, or is it just more kind of grow for a bit now and then go from there?
Look, I would love to do the Olympia again in Orlando. Like I would love to do that. But it does mean I have to do season B to qualify.
At least it's a bit closer because it's in Olympia's in November now. So
yes, so much better. You know what? It just means that it's literally a few days after nationals. So if anyone's doing, season B, they can't do nationals because so I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to move it or anything.
Yeah, they might move it a bit earlier on.
Yeah, it would be smart because
but do you I thought you only have to qualify for the state show. You don't have to qualify for nationals.
Yeah, you do a state show, but I'm saying like if someone wants their pro card or anything, they want a another chance. Yeah, so but yeah, no, I'm glad it's a bit earlier this year. So yeah, that's what I have in mind. It's
just kind of feel it out when you get closer to when you may need to start prep for season B. Be good even if you did it again, kind of like redemption and come back and get that first place, make it to the overalls.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
That'd be exciting.
It would.
So what is kind of, I guess, so you're saying more shoulders and more glutes. So is that kind of what Troy's kind of set up your training at the moment? I guess you're still reverse dieting, but that will be the plan of the off season, just kind of focus on overall growth.
Yeah, got a new training program this morning, which is good actually. Yeah, we just concentrate like just 3 uppers, 2 lowers. So really, the main focus is delts.
Main focus is delts.
Yeah. So that's what we're just trying to blow up at the moment.
I think that's like something that I guess it's funny that you said that because a few other female bikini competitors I've talked to in that, they've said the same thing. Like you always kind of think glutes, and they kind of neglect the shoulders. And then all of a sudden they do a show or they compete and it's like, oh, okay, now you need your shoulders. It's like, oh, that's right. We need to get that proportion going. That's
right. Not all about the big glute.
Yeah. Well, so what did you think? I know there's been a lot of discussion at the moment, and I'm just interested in your opinion with, what happened with Jen actually coming second and Maureen coming first. I just interested in, your opinion on that. Because I don't know if you saw one of the head judges spoke out about it and said that Maureen, because people are trying to say, oh, they're changing bikini, they're changing what they're going for. And the coach says the judge says something like, we're not changing bikini. It's just more, Maureen had more, it's still the same shoulders to glutes. You want to come in not as peeled. You want to be slightly soft. You still want not too cap shoulders, but, nice roundness. But, each person holds that shape differently. So, because I think that was the most interesting, because I was surprised Laura Lee got 5th, but I guess that kind of came into, she was really lean. Her shoulders were really capped. Her ham glute time was really sharp. So I think, when you put it that way, she could have came in softer, which may have, increased her placing. So, I just wanted to hear what you think. Do you think that they are changing it, or do you agree that it's more just Maureen had that what they were looking for, and Jen came in a bit leaner.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I think like the posing make a huge difference. Like if you see some of the photos, how Jem was posing is sort of like hiding her glute, whereas
Yeah.
Maureen had really good, like strong front pose, which I think that, yeah, that sort of gave it her like first place. But yeah, Maureen looked amazing. I
Yeah.
did Jen was going to win though, but I know that she did. I did hear she changed her routine, stuff like that. But yeah, I did see, and a lot of people have said like in photos, her front pose,
The same.
it wasn't the same, and it just wasn't like in proportion as Maureen.
It really shows the importance of like,
Uh,
especially in bikini. Like I think posing is really important and can make a difference in any division. When the points are so close, it could just be something as simple as like how you hold yourself in this pose or whatever. But especially in bikini, when it really is like, I guess that posing is what highlights that femininity, and as well as kind of your how well your physique flows. And I guess I didn't realize that was kind of talk as well, that Jen had changed her front pose a bit. So that makes a bit more sense in that regard. Because I thought Maureen was softer, but I was still really blown away by her stage presence and
I,
how well she was holding herself.
yeah, I agree. I thought she was softer too, but her stage, like her posing, everything, I was just like, wow.
Were you there? Like when they were were you watching the show live? That
Yeah,
would have been cool.
it was cool. It was so cool. Like no, yeah, like people, we weren't expecting it really, and it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like we wasn't expecting like Laura Lee to be fifth,
yeah.
and like first call out. So I was just like, oh my god.
It was a big change up, but it happened in all the divisions. So it was, I think it was a good thing. I think it was due to happen. We kind of, in all divisions, we had, I guess, except for Chris Bumstead, he's in a league of his own. But,
Yeah,
we've had the same type of thing for a while now. So it was good to kind of, each division gets shaken up instead of just one or two. So it was cool to see. And
yeah,
it was, luckily you got to experience that, yourself in person. That just would have been amazing.
it was mind blowing. Like just I can't even describe it. It was just amazing.
Well, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
That's great. And I'm excited to see what, 2023 brings for you and your competitive season.
Thank you. Me
Have
too.
have a great rest of the day.